Now we are going to discuss about the table design of FriendZHub project. First table is about user table, which is used to store the basic details of the clients or the users in the FriendZHub website. It has so many fields, and first is user ID. User ID is the ID of the FriendZHub client or member. The user ID is created by the FriendZHub member's first name plus a 3-digit random number. Next is first name and last name. That is his first and last name. DOB means his date of birth. Sex means his gender. Gender may be male, female, transgender. So that 15 size is used. Next is email ID, then password, place, website, his interest, his employment details, then his photo ID, then his education details. And the status means his uh, if he is an active member of FriendZHub or not. And next is his phone number, and other is timeline picture, which will be dynamically changed when each time he upload his timeline cover image. And like that, photo ID also get dynamical changes according to his uh, profile picture he changes. Next is friend. Friend table, which is used to store friendship related details. Friend ID. Friend ID is is primary key. The friend ID is created by the source, uh, the friend request sender's ID plus friend request uh, receiver's ID, and its type is worker, so that size become 50. And the source ID is the user ID of who sent the friend request, and target ID is the user ID of who received the friend request. And the status, that means the friend request may be in active state or in the confirmed state or block state, any of the state. And date is when the friendship is established. Next is chat room. It is used to store chat messages, and its primary key is chat ID. Here the chat ID is is each of the chat messages sent by the two friends, and it will be some 3-digit alphabet plus 3-digit random number. And send ID is the user ID of message sender, and receiver ID is the user ID of message receiver. Date time means date time of each message sent by sender and receiver, and the content is the actual message sent by sender and receiver. Status is the status of the message active or deleted. Here date time is in daytime, and all other fields are varchar. Next is post. Here his primary key is post ID, and foreign key is user ID and photo ID. It is used to store post related informations. So all the photo post related informations, its content, all are stored in this table post. The post ID, which is the ID of the post, and title, which is the title of the post, and date is a time date where when the post is uploaded, and the text, which is about the details about the text about the post. And user ID, user is the user ID is the user or client's ID. This is the foreign key. And photo ID, it will be img with plus a some random number, that is photo ID. And the status means active or deleted the post, all that thing. Next is photo post. Here is primary key is photo ID, and foreign key is user ID. It is used to store photo related information. Here the photo ID, which is also used in the post, and in the post table we have already stored the information about the post, and that particular posted image details will be stored in this photo post. So in that way post and photo post are associated. Photo ID is the ID of the photo post, and photo name is the name of that photo post. Post ID, that is the ID of the post, and using the post ID, the post and photo post are related. User ID is the ID of the client or particular user of FriendZHub who posted that post. Status means the photo post is active or delete. Next is table is like box. Its primary key is like ID and foreign key is post ID and user ID. Its purpose is to store likes for post informations and acts as a counter. Okay, so the user could view his uh, friend's post and he could like and comment each of his posts. For that, his like box and comment box are used. So like ID is the ID for likes and counter is used to count likes for each post. Post ID is the ID of the post and user ID is the person who liked the particular post. Here post ID and user ID are foreign key, and this post ID and user ID will make the like box connect with the post table and the about user table. And the comment box, next table is comment box. Its primary key is comment ID and foreign key is post ID. Its whole purpose is to store client's comment on each post. Its primary key comment ID is used to is the ID of comments sent by client or member. Comments and date is the which date the comment is done. And post ID is the ID of post, and using the foreign key post ID the comment box is connected to the post. And commented by, this is actually the particular who the client or the user who commented the particular post, whose ID may be stored in the commented by field name. Next is notification. Notification is primary key is notification ID and foreign keys are photo ID, user ID, friend ID and friend ID. Its purpose is to store image, download, warning related informations. So this notification table is used when someone wish to download his friend's image, then the image will be sent to the extraction function and the original owner of the image will be found. Then the original image will get will get notification, and the notification message will be stored in this table notification. Here the notification ID uh, is the ID of notification. Description, this is a notification about the user tries to download image, that will be held in the description table. Date, this is the date where when the particular person tries to download that image. And user ID, user ID is the ID uh, of the original owner of that image. Photo ID is the ID of that particular post that that particular friend tries to download. Status, status means that post is now active or not, that is that status. And friend ID, friend ID means that particular friend who tries to download image, the ID of that particular friend will be stored in this friend ID. And we know that friend ID means that um, particular user image owner is ID plus the particular friend's ID, that is the friend ID.